Hey guys, live with Cindy Kaza. How are you, honey?
I'm good. How are you? I'm
good.
Just trying to share this.
Yeah,
you know?
we got to get all your fans on there.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Get all your fans on there now that you're a big star on the Travel Channel.
Oh wait, I shared it to my story.
You can share it anywhere you want.
I need to share it to my share it to your
timeline. Share it everywhere.
Timeline.
Guys, 2020, back with the captain's log. I've had some what do I say? Some podcasts that got canceled the last few weeks. I had my dear uncle Liggy passed away last week, so I was in New Jersey. So sorry I didn't get the show cranked up as well as I wanted to, but now we're back in action, and thank you everybody for all the kind, warm thoughts and condolences. Yeah. Yes. So anyway, Cindy Kaza, how are you? And
I'm doing good.
This is what, your third time back with me?
I think. Oh, so
maybe
bright.
even more. I know.
Wow.
Right in the middle of the sun.
Gotta put my shades on. It's trying to kill me. Always.
I got sunshine
on a cloudy day.
Yeah. So tell me, you are now a big TV star. What is it? What is it like to be a TV star? Damn it, you're famous.
You know, I feel the same. I mean, I'm super excited about the show. It's been great. So for those of you who haven't seen it, it's called the Holzer Files. It's on the Travel Channel. Season 1 aired. Yep. If you haven't seen it, go watch it on demand. You can get it on Hulu,
Spell
Amazon Prime.
Holzer.
Holzer, the Holzer Files.
Holzer Files, yeah. And what does the name mean?
Well, Holzer is the last name of a man named Hans Holzer, who's one of the most famous paranormal investigators on the planet. So he's written over 100 books. He has thousands of cases all over the world. How many of those hundreds
of books have you read? Don't lie.
I seriously haven't read any of them.
Yeah, well, me neither, so that's good.
It was kind of embarrassing because, you know, although like mediumship and paranormal were under the same umbrella, we're kind of separate too. Yeah. So when they asked me to be on the show, they're like, hey, do you want to be on the Holzer Files? We're doing the show about Hans Holzer. I was like, I'm so embarrassed, I don't know who that is. It was so, but it's actually better because I don't know his cases, right?
Yeah, so you're not like a fan and have these determined ideas.
Right. So it's really cool because we get to go around you know, the U.S. What we did in season 1 is we went around the U.S. and we reinvestigated some of his most famous case files, some case files that have never been shown to the public, and then we have, you know, access to these files that his family, you know, allows us to use. Although going into the show, I had no access, right? So they just bring me to a location and I walk in and it's just like, let's see what you get. So it's cool. Yeah.
So when you first started filming, what was that like? Did they tell you about the case and then you wanted to look for little pieces, or how does it work? Oh, I hate to say that, but
this guy.
I know I'm terrible, but I talk to you enough that I feel like you're always part of me.
Well, thank you.
You know, we talk once a month at least.
I'm in your soul.
Yeah, like you're always reading me.
So what happens is the production company and the network, they set up the locations, and then I have a team that works with me, or we all work together. Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman, they're the paranormal guys. So I have no information about the case before I go into it. They do, but I don't. So they literally bring me to a location and they're like, let's see what you got. Right?
And what have you found some cool stuff? Like did they and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
So it's cool because, you know, we filmed the show, and then when I watched the show, that's the first time I'm actually seeing all the pieces of the puzzle come together. And it's like, whoa, oh my gosh, I can't believe that actually happened. So it's fun to see it all unfold because I don't have any information before. And it's really interesting because in a lot of the cases, you know, we found all these different twists and turns, and things wound up going in a really...
What kind of cases are they? Like, what is the case? Is it like deaths and they try to track the people down, or what?
No, it's not that. So it's paranormal investigation. So basically Hans Holzer, you know, had investigated these places years ago in the 50s, the 60s, 70s, right? And he always would bring a medium with him to the locations. And what's so cool is that a lot of, you know, the paranormal shows nowadays don't really use mediums very much. They focus more on using technology. But Hans believed that using a medium was really an important part of solving the case. So I get to go in and work and see what I get, and then, you know, sometimes the cases weren't closed by Hans. Well, actually, he believed that a case is never closed because something can always continue with the activity. So we're going back and seeing all these years later, is the activity still there? Has something changed?
What did you find? Did you give me something, like some gossip, some good stuff? Did you find some nitty gritty?
We found some really cool stuff. I mean, They were, gosh, all the cases are so different. They're so different. But, you know, I think one of the coolest cases with the most activity that we had was at the Whaley House in San Diego. It was just so cool. I mean, our paranormal investigator, Dave.
I saw a clip, right? He got thrown
shoved,
or something.
He got, like, thrown. And
yeah.
we were actually able to figure out what was going on in the location because a lot of people had gone in there and investigated before, and it took a whole different twist.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the show, check it out. And you can see it on Hulu, on Amazon Prime if you don't have cable, on demand on Travel Channel or the Travel Channel app.
Okay.
You can binge watch it.
And my guest, Cindy Kaza, is going to be at Off the Hook Comedy Club tonight. She does her Medium show where people in the audience actually have the opportunity to get readings.
Right. Which
is amazing because I see you work the crowd. You hone in on thoughts or images that are coming in. Is that what it is? And then you find the person that's actually giving you this message.
Well, what happens is I get on.
Maybe I tell it really terrible. She's way better than that. No, I mean, it's ridiculous. People cry. You literally like hit it on the head every time. It's so amazing. And I get so many text messages when you're in town that, oh, can you put me on the list? I need 2 tickets. And I'm like, it's so busy, guys. Just call the club and buy tickets because I'm not like the personal secretary of all my friends, but they all want to come to see your show. It's so funny. And I'm like, the show's great. I can't blame you. And they said, well, can you make sure I get a reading? I'm like, no, I can't make sure that everybody in the place gets a reading.
Well, that's not how it works. So it's interesting because, you know, I think some people think, well, if I sit closer to her, I'll get a reading. Or if I sit here.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you sit. There's no bad seat because.
Although I'm very close to you and you hit it on the head when you read me.
That's different because that's a private reading.
I know, but we did it live. That was amazing.
We did do that live.
Yeah, I should post the clip today of how amazing that was because you said my grandfather's name within, I don't know, 10 seconds of talking to me during the reading, and that like already wigged me out. Like you said, who do you want to talk? Who do I want? I said the night before who I want to come through, and I said my grandfather. And I'm going to cry because it was crazy. The first second you said there's a Charles that wants to talk to you. And that's his name. And I still, like, you were on fire that day because you went to one of the radio stations and then there was a DJ, a co-host that passed away. You said his name in the room, which you would have never known. I know that you wouldn't have known that.
No, yeah.
Unless you're just super, like, amazing at doing weird like there's no way you could have, like, you couldn't have tracked back to all these, you know, missing parts to figure that out. So I know that my friend Jeff Zito to this day is still like, I mean, he's such a fan. Like, you blew him away. He was so upset, crying. That was his best friend and show co-host for like 10 years. And then when we got in the car, you nailed my grandfather in 2 seconds, and I was like, I can't even, like, out of all the names in the world, can you guys imagine all the names in the world, right, that people know? How do you say the one person that I said the night before who I wanted to bring out? There's no possible way you could have, because I could have said a million other people. I could have said my grandmother. I could have said so many people.
It's how it works.
Damn it! Right? I wanted more. I did. I wanted more, and I froze up a little. So
you didn't freeze up.
I didn't.
No.
I should have went really into it.
You did. I mean, you did. And then we started talking about you and your life, and
yeah.
No, but I mean, you know, it's. I don't take credit like, oh, look at me, I'm so amazing, right? I'm just so grateful that I can be, you know, for lack of a better word, a vessel to get the information out. Like, right? I'm just glad I can share it with people.
Absolutely.
Because that's what it's about. It's about sharing it with people.
So we're sharing it with people's one thing, but what about in your relationships? God, the guys must be paranoid. Are they paranoid? They're like, this chick is freaking, she can see right through me. She knows what I'm doing.
No,
she knows what I already did.
It's very interesting. Relationships
How
are
far
interesting.
back do you go? Can you go back like forever in their life if they come through, or can it be like a week? Like, I know what you did last week. Can you feel like that or no?
I mean, things happen, right? But what's really frustrating about relationships sometimes is I can sense things, right? And I'll ask about it. I'll say, oh, you know, I'm kind of sensing this, and then they'll deny it. They'll totally flat out deny it. And then later it turns out to be correct. So it's so frustrating because then I'm thinking, God, am I really misinterpreting this?
Right, I know you say that a lot, because sometimes people don't actually remember half the stuff
or they don't tell you the truth.
It's coming through.
And then you find out later and you're like, I knew it. It's like, do as I say, not as I do. I tell people, trust your gut. And then I get into the situations with people and I'm getting information and then they, they're lying to me about it, saying that's wrong.
Right, exactly.
And then it turns out to be right. So,
and then they start crying, and then people cry because you hit it so hard on the head. I saw you a few shows ago, not the last one because I wasn't there. I was with my kids, but the time before that, you literally gave the guy's name and his birthday and year. And I was like,
remember.
I remember. I was like, that person, you must have just made their like entire life, because for sure they would have known instantly that was like all right. So everything you were saying had to be right. I mean, you knew the guy's name, his birthday, and the year he was born.
Oh, I don't even. I mean,
you
I
were
don't
on
remember
fire.
half.
You were on fire.
It's just, and here's the thing. It's like the reason that
Hi, Trisha. Trisha's going to the show tonight.
Oh,
Nancy
yay.
Cruz. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching the Captain's Log. Cindy Kaza, medium extraordinaire. She travels all around the country. You do comedy clubs, which is great. And it's not the fact that people have to be funny in the club. It's just a great size venue.
It's a great
exactly.
environment.
There's the stage, there's lights. It's a great place to perform. So, I encourage people that are into it, that are spiritual, and that want to see the show to come see you, because it's very moving.
Well, thanks.
It really is. And I didn't know what a medium was, when I booked you the very first time.
That's right.
I was not
He's
into mediums.
He's like, I'll book her. I have no idea what she does, but you can come to my club.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I saw you were playing all these clubs, and I'm like, all right, it's got to be something good. I don't know.
Oh,
sounds
funny.
interesting.
And a lot of people wonder, like, why is she doing mediumship in comedy clubs, or what is this? Is she telling jokes? And no, I'm not telling jokes.
It's just
right?
a venue. It's just a size venue, right? They have great lighting,
and
good
it's awesome, and
microphones,
people can come have food and have a couple drinks, and it's a relaxed environment.
We do church events even at our club. So we use the venue for everything. All during the day, there's private events, there's political party events,
there's so much
luncheons.
Stuff goes on at those clubs, right?
People don't realize it when because all the clubs do it.
And it's funny because when I first started doing mediumship in comedy clubs, it was 7 years ago, people in the mediumship community were so judgmental. They were like, why would you do mediumship in a comedy club? That's not spiritual. I was like, really? Everywhere is a spiritual place. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so it's not like we have background laughs just... No. It's can you imagine? What's the difference?
I had to I took crap from some people, and then finally I was like, I don't give a crap, and so, it doesn't matter where you do mediumship. Mediumship is mediumship, and spirits are everywhere, and it's about bringing messages to people and bringing healing and all that,
Do you feel pain from the person if they're in pain? Do you feel any of that?
I don't typically have physical sensations.
Some people do, right?
Some people do. Some people, if somebody died of a heart attack, then they get really bad chest pain. And to me, it's like, I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't want to bring that on. You're doing that every night? No way.
No,
a 2-hour show?
Doesn't sound fun.
You'll pass right out.
Yeah, but there are mediums who really experience it that way. I'm glad that that's not what happens to me.
Yeah. And give me an example of something that came through and you were so scared for the person. Do you have something, or something that came through that stuck with your mind, that's still in your mind, as in wow, that really was so extra?
So I have a couple of examples. I think one of the most life-changing experiences for me as a medium happened, it was probably about 1.5 years ago. I was doing an event in California. And for me, it was so interesting because, when I work with the other side, there's so many unknowns. What is the other side really? I mean, I can only speak on my experience and what I feel from people over there, but I've never been there, right?
Right.
So anyway, I was doing an event in California, and I went to this lady in the audience, and I said, I'm hearing the name Garrett, and I said, I see this man, and I was describing him. I was like, he's all over the place. He's gotten in trouble with the law. He's running from the police. He has, a drug problem. And I was going on and on. So the lady was like, she stopped me and she goes, actually, Cindy, she goes, Garrett, the name Garrett was correct. She goes, Garrett is still alive. But she said, you're describing...
And you always get the name. Damn, you get the name. Garrett is not a name that you just... It's not Tom or Bob.
Yeah.
Garrett. That's so hard.
But yeah, you know what? It's just I guess it's just allowing the information to come in and trusting it. But anyway, she was like, Garrett is still alive, and she said, I was just having lunch with him this afternoon before I came to your show, and she said, the man that you're describing is Garrett's best friend, and she said, Garrett's best friend, who you're describing, he's on life support, and they're pulling the plug tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Oh, and so you were feeling Garrett's
best friend. So here's what it... No, it's Garrett's best friend. So the thing is, and Garrett had just been at the hospital with this man, and I didn't get the name of the man, I just got Garrett's name. Yeah. Because, you know, in the spirit world is so smart, because the woman in the audience probably wouldn't have known
the guy's name.
So I had to get Garrett's name for her to take it. And so, but what was so fascinating about the experience was what was happening is that, you know, people who are in comas or on life support, it's like they have one foot in and one foot out. So I was connecting to the soul of somebody who was in a coma and getting intelligent information from that person.
Have you ever gone to the bedside and actually done it?
Not yet. I have not done that, but I would.
On the next captain's log, Cindy's going bedside.
I would, because the communication is possible. So what was, to me, was such a beautiful experience is that, you know, Garrett was there with his friend who was about to be taken off life support the next day at 1 p.m. that morning. Then he went to have lunch with the woman who was in the audience. Then she came to my show, and then the message came out from the best friend telling Garrett, you know, I love you. I'm sorry about what happened. Thank you for being there for me. And it's like mind-blowing, because the intelligence of the other side, the intelligence of consciousness, the soul, it's amazing what we have access to. So that really opened my eyes a lot, you know?
Absolutely.
The other thing, one of the hardest experiences that I've had, I think, is seeing when somebody was going to pass away before they did. And I really hate that because it's so hard, and because I believe in God, and I'm not God. So you know, basically,
and people get that confused, right? Don't they feel like, oh, it's sacrilegious to do this or something? Which you say at the beginning of your show that you do believe in God and other things.
I believe in God. God's a big part of my life. God is everything, and so
you just have the ability to be able to talk to people through the mediumship.
Well, and here's the thing is, I think that, and you know, I have full respect for anybody's religious beliefs. I'm not here to change anybody's beliefs. I don't get upset if people don't believe in what I do. I don't get upset if people think I'm doing the devil's work. That's none of my business.
And I'll tell you, that's the people that come into the show as haters and naysayers, they leave like, damn, I don't know what to think. Because that seemed so legit, and it's just like you change everyone.
And you know, I always say my job as a medium is not to turn every skeptic into a believer. That's a lost cause, and it's not what the work is about.
But you do a damn good job at that. I've seen it.
Thank you.
I've seen it.
It's just about, you know, giving messages, right? But where I'm going with it is that, you know, I think that some of the problem can lie when a medium tries to play the role of God and basically, you know, says, I know everything, I know this, I'm always right, this is what's definitely happening. And it's like, that's not good, you know?
And I bet there's mediums out there that also, they get information coming through, but then they kind of use their own ideas, right? And so I think that a lot of that's my thought. This is what happens. You get some of these people that do get messages, they do come through, they're doing these readings, but they're way too, like, putting their own ideas on the person.
That can happen too. So it's really about being able to be in a space where you're giving messages and your ego is not involved and your own fears aren't involved, and you know, I just do the best that I can.
My car washed and they just put mud all over it.
No, that was water. Just cleaning off your windshield a little bit, right? But anyway, you know, the point of it is that I think that the issue lies when a medium tries to play the role of God, and that's not good, in my opinion.
Right.
So
nobody can play the role.
But to each his own, right? And like I said, I respect people's religious beliefs, and I'm not trying to convert anybody to anything. I'm just going out there and doing what I do.
Well, we enjoy the show. We've had you, I don't know how many sold out shows. This is what, 15, 20 shows we've had you so far?
Gosh, I don't know. How many years have I been coming here? Like 3?
3 years. So at least 20 shows.
We've done a lot of shows.
Because one weekend we did 6 sold-out shows in the weekend, remember?
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I forgot about that. That was we did a lot of shows that
weekend. Hey,
weekend.
Juliana, Roman, Edwin, what's happening, guys?
Hey,
Thank you
guys.
for watching the Captain's Vlog. We're having a good time. I'm learning all about Cindy's mediumship life and her new show.
Yeah, the Holzer Files, season 1 has already aired. So if you haven't seen it, go to Travel Channel on demand, the Travel Channel app, Hulu. You can watch it on Hulu, and you can buy it on Amazon Prime.
Do we have a future together? Or do you see us together in the future?
I don't think we're gonna date, Brian.
Damn it! She said maybe I gave you way too much credit, Cindy. Come on, I know that I feel it. I feel it. No, I always tease you. Boy. I always have a good time. You really put on an amazing show. Everybody leaves like blown away, and that's why we keep having you back. The request to see the show, to have you come in nonstop. But how can they find you on Instagram? Because I know you're Cindy Kaza.
Just if you type in Cindy Kaza, Kaza, everything comes up. Facebook, Instagram. My website is mediumcindykaza.com. Yeah. So, and I was just on an episode a couple nights ago on another Travel Channel show called Lost in the Wild. It's a really cool show. These two people, JJ Kelly and Kinga Phillips, they go around and they investigate missing persons cases all over the world.
Wow.
So I just did a guest spot, and it's a fun show on an episode that filmed in Colorado. If you're interested in all that kind of true crime stuff,
which is huge right now.
It's fun.
Right?
Like, check out that show. It's a great show. So I was on episode 3, but definitely check out the entire series. It's still in the midst of airing. So there are 3 episodes that you can see on demand or on Hulu already. Yeah.
Cindy Kaza, guys, on the Captain's Vlog. Thank you for watching. Get tickets at offthehookcomedy.com. And tonight and tomorrow, 2 shows. They're almost sold out, so don't wait. And I can't wait to have you back again. It's always amazing. And good luck with the show.
Thank you.
And that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're
Bye,
good.
guys.
Have a good day.
Bye.